Hello everyone, how's it going? So Valve has a brand new policy and it's not great. Valve no longer permits games with mature themes to release in early access. Now, mature themes can mean a lot of things. Like, does it mean too much cleavage? Does it mean naked bodies? Does it mean guns or any type of violent weaponry like knives? I mean, technically even a spoon could be considered a weapon, so what exactly is mature themes? It's this very vague language that people use that it can mean so many different things. Like, technically this helmet could be considered mature themes because it's from Mass Effect, which is a mature rated game with sex, violence, destruction, lots of stuff. Capcom right here, I have a Capcom hoodie. Devil May Cry, Resident Evil. Like, what exactly do you mean by mature themes? I hate this vague language. Valve reportedly no longer permits games with mature themes to be released in early access. Now, Valve has made some good policy changes to early access games, such as addressing customers who are interested by giving them a note about when the game was last updated, but this policy seems ridiculous. As detailed by Dammit Bird and reported by Games Market, adult game Heavy Hearts failed Valve's review last March because Valve is unable to support the early access model of development for a game with mature themes. The developer invited to submit the game for approval when it was already ready to launch while early access. So they have to wait until the game is ready for launch for early access before they're allowed to submit the game. This is a little weird. Now, I don't know the entire history of this company. Maybe they have a negative history from Valve. Maybe they've abandoned too many games or something like that, but let's just take them at face value. Though Valve did not expand on why games with mature themes have been quietly removed from early access process, and it remains unclear precisely it's meant by mature themes exactly. It's thought this is just the latest in a long line of changes from digital storefronts like Steam and itch.io following pressure by its payment processors and conservative activists to moderate adult content on their sites. Yeah, there's been this huge campaign by companies like Collective Shout. It's an Australian company that basically go to payment processors like Visa and MasterCard, these companies, and they shout loud enough. They basically put on the Karen war paint, and they just talk to these companies saying a lot of insidious and often untrue things about certain products, especially with video games, to people who don't understand video games. And instead of having to deal with the angry Karen, they just give them what they want so they'll go away. The problem is now that gamers are fed up with this, and now they're fighting fire with fire, which I 100% is the right move. If they're willing to take the low road, well, let's take the low road. And the last thing you want to do is to get gamers angry. When gamers unite on a topic, they are some of the most violent and aggressive people on the planet. Like, they'll take all that aggression they had on each other and just say, you know what, screw this person, we're gonna go after them. And honestly, look, there is a certain level when it comes to certain games of what they can do. Obviously, like, I'm not going to say what it is. You can just literally understand that certain games should not exist if they carry certain themes. Let's just put it like that, and unless YouTube wants to take the hammer down on me. But for games like, there was a game that was very controversial. It was called Hatred, where you played as a shooter. Let's just say that. I think it's sold on Steam. Let's see, actually. There it is. I didn't know if it was Hated or Hatred. This is the game. So yeah, this is a very violent game. I can't show the trailer, but this was met with a lot of backlash. But there are games like this on Steam that are fully allowed to be purchased. Like Call of Duty World at War has some of the most violent depictions of war crimes you can possibly imagine. Final Fantasy has a lot of violence in it. Halo Combat Evolved, like, these are games that carry a lot of mature themes. And if the game is rated M for mature, like, as long as you're above the age of 18, you should be allowed to purchase it as long as the product is not illegal. Due to current events, I panicked and contacted my publisher to help me get on Steam early access. The developer told Game Market, the general rule is that your game should be about 65% done before early access. Well, we are about 70% done, so that the game was right away. was right anyway, but now all of a sudden and without a policy announcement, the rules have changed and now I can't join Steam Early Access. Heavy Hearts is available on itch, but you'll never be able to search it because of the D-index. It's hard to promote your game on platforms like X because they deboost any mention of Patreon or other socials. Yeah, I never really got that. Like, they'll promote all these drop shipping scams and OnlyFans scams, but they have such a problem with you putting your Patreon up there. I never get that. Like, it's ridiculous. Since Patreon used to be the king of delisting kinky adult games, I never put much stock in it, but now it's basically all I have, and I still have risk of getting deplatformed from it. That's also true. Patreon is actually very anal when it comes to adult-themed content. Again, they had to bend the knee because people like Collective Shout, and there are also people in the company. But, yeah, itch.io delisted all not safe for work games. Oh, this is just this is what I'm talking about. Like payment processors profiting from stuff I can't say. You can read it right there, but yeah, this is basically a summary of everything that's been going on. So this is the source article. Valve is no longer accepting early access games with sexually explicit content. The renewed pressure on adult games is part of the chain of demands that payment processors put through storefronts like Steam and itch. But resistance from affected developers and users demanding free art has risen dramatically. So this is the game, I assume. Heavy Hearts, okay. It looks like your basic RPG game. Well, like, what, this? Dude, I've seen more graphic material on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Heavy. Oh, okay. Wait, masturbate and attack? I assume that's for the dog? But, okay, I don't know. I think that's funny. But, I mean, let's face it, I've seen more, like, graphically depicted things on playing cards like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon than this. In an update in their handling of adult games as part of the recent discussion between payment processors and storefronts, Valve is now disallowing early access submissions for games with explicit sexual content. Your app failed our review because we're unable to support the early access model of development for a game with mature themes. The company states in a new message that went out to studios uploading adult early access games. The company did not make clear what the reason was, though assumingly it is because payment processors are uncomfortable with games adding additional content and could possibly transgress against their increasingly oppressive content guidelines for media they allow payments for. Yeah, like, this is becoming increasingly more terrifying because this is always the first step before they start to censor certain things that you're not allowed to have or purchase, or you go through other hoops in order to get it. It's becoming very scary because how many of us depend on credit cards and these types of payment processors? Like, it's actually pretty terrifying when you think about it. Like, from basic necessities like food, water, and all of that stuff, you need a bank account nowadays. You can't just, like, most businesses now don't even accept cash. Like, I started to pay things with cash more often than not, but when it comes to PC gaming in particular, like, you can't go out and buy a PC copy of Doom Eternal. You have to go to a digital website in order to buy it. Like, physical PC releases don't exist, or at least they exist in extremely finite amount. Like, you can still, like, go to a company like GOG, you still need to buy the game digitally, but you can buy the game digitally and make a physical copy through a disc if you have it. But nevertheless, getting a first party physical copy of a PC game, good luck. The issue was made public when developers of the adult game shared messages they received from Steam when they were trying to apply for early access. One of these developers in studio Dammit Bird, developers of the adult game Heavy Hearts. Due to current events, I panicked and contacted my publisher to help me get on. Oh, I already read that. So this is the message. Okay, this is on Blue Sky. And yeah. Wow. Okay. And again, like, mature themes. What the heck does that even mean? Like I said, this game has mature themes. Is it next? I mean, it's not early access. This is a full release, but regardless, you know, where does the buck stop? The development is part of an ever-narrowing canal of distribution message for games that include sexual content, with payment processors pressuring itch.io to delist the game's DN. Oh, so we already read all of this, but yeah, it's the same thing. So, this is a very scary first step. I don't think Valve gives a damn about any of this stuff. They're just bending the knee because they have to. At the end of the day, they are obedient to MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, all these credit card companies, because All they have to say is we refuse you service. There's nothing you can do unless Valve develops their own payment processor, which is a whole different can of worms, which requires a lot more regulation than anyone could possibly imagine. Like, Valve is big, but I don't know if they're big enough to develop their own payment processor. That's like next level like stuff that you have to deal with. And I don't know, like, to me this is a very dangerous step. Like, I strongly believe as long as the game doesn't break any laws within the country that it's submitted to, it should be fine. But then again, there's also the idea of different laws for different countries, but for the most part first world countries share similar laws, like the European Union, Britain, America, we all Canada, we share usually the same laws and the same illegal activity. But I don't know, like, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I always find that censorship is always the first step to just, like, removing other freedoms. Like, I don't believe in censorship, especially when it comes to art forms like video games, painting, books, movies, whatever. I think everyone should be able to create what they want and let the free market decide within reason. Like, obviously, there are, like, certain things that you should not do for legal reasons, but for the most part, I don't like this. I don't, because it just means that instead of making a game that a person wants to make, they're going to have to say, can I make this game based on the laws that are provided? It always goes back to this quote I remember from the Jace Hall show when he talked to Ted Price. You get a bunch of people in the room and they start shouting ideas of what will be a cool idea for a game, and instead of a bunch of people coming together and saying, yeah, this sounds fun, this sounds cool, they'll be like, oh, we can't make that because this law says this, we can't make that because it's too mature. Then they're just gonna be like, then what the hell can I make? Like, we live in a world where everyone has to be in a padded room, when in reality nature and life itself is full of danger and sexual content. Literally just turn on the news and you'll find this shit easily. Like, it's posted every day on Fox News, CNN, and everywhere. But that's just my opinion on this. I really think this is a bad move, but I really think that Valve just said we have to do this, or we end up being taking a risk that we just aren't willing to take. Like, at the end of the day, this is just one game from one indie company. For the person, this is their livelihood, but for Valve, it's just Tuesday. Like, they gotta say, hey, sorry. Like, I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with this, where unfortunately you're the exception in this rule, or you were the one who had to take the bullet to the chest. But that's it from me. Tell me what you think in the comments below if you're much more verbal and vocal about this, and tell me what you think about this. I'd love to hear other people's opinions on these matters. But that's it from me. Like, dislike, your choice. Sub if you want to go the extra mile. Goodbye. Have a good day.